Now I have 2x squared plus 20x equals 8. And I need you to note that your a coefficient is not 1. Is not 1, which means you need to check for your GCF. Check GCF. Okay, because we are factoring, we're completing the square, you need to make sure that you know what your GCF is. So I'm going to get my calculator, and just a reminder, check for your GCF. We are going to check for 2, 20, and 8. Even though that constant is on the other side of the equals, we're still going to use that to find our GCF. So math over 9, we want to find the GCF of 2 and 20, which is 2. And math over 9, I'm going to use my first GCF answer, and I'm going to use that with my third number, which is 8, and the GCF is 2. So I'm going to make a note of that. GCF equals 2. And now I'm going to divide all of my terms, all of my numbers, 2, 20, and 8, by 2. So 2 divided by 2, that's going to make that x squared. 20x divided by 2, that's going to make that a positive 10x. I'm going to leave a blank for my constant that I'm going to add in. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. And again, I'm going to leave a blank after my equals. You want to make sure you have 2 blanks, one before the equals and one after, so that you really are keeping your equation balanced. And now we're going to draw a picture of x squared plus 10x plus blank. Now, I'm going to ignore my GCF as 2 because remember when we were solving by factoring, our GCF, if I set that equal to 0, 2 equals 0, it's not a solution, even though it is a factor. It will not be a solution. So now I'm going to draw my picture. I'm going to draw an x squared box. And now I want to think, okay, if I want to evenly divide up my next term so that I have an even or the same number of rectangles coming down from both sides of my x squared box, that's going to make that 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these are representing 5x and 5x. Now I just have to notice if they are positive or negative, and got to be positive because my answer is positive. And so now I'm going to decide what number am I going to use to complete my square. And the answer is 25. So 25 is going to go into all my blanks. That's the constant that I'm going to add, which is going to make my factors x plus 5 times x plus 5, which I can simplify that and write my factors as x plus 5 to the power of 2, or x plus 5 squared, which is what I want because I want to be able to take the square root of both sides. So now I'm going to rewrite my trinomial using my factors. That's going to be x plus 5 squared. And then I'm going to add my constants together. So you're going to add the constant they gave you, that's on the other side of the equals, to the constant you add, so that's going to be 29. And now I'm ready to take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to get x plus 5 equals, and then 29. I'm going to find the prime factors of 29, and 29 is a prime number, so its only factors are 29 and 1. So I cannot simplify my radical, so it's going to stay the square root of 29. But just like the other problems, I still have to have that positive negative sign out front so that I can write my 2 equations. So I'm going to have x plus 5 equals the square root of 29. And I'm going to have x plus 5 equals the negative square root of 29. And just like before, we've got to move our positive 5s over, and we're going to change the sign in both equations when we do that. And then I have to ask myself, can I combine like terms? Can I combine the square root of 29 with a negative 5? Can I combine the negative square root of 25 with a negative 5? And the answer is no, you cannot. So your final answer is going to be the square root of 29 minus 5 is one solution. And your second solution is going to be x equals the negative square root of 29 minus 5. And there are your 2 solutions. Okay, last example. I've got 3x squared plus 12x equals 18. Again, I notice that my a coefficient is not a 1, so I want to check for my GCF. And so I'm thinking of a number that I can divide out evenly from 3, 12, and 18, and the answer is 3. So I'm going to start dividing. That's going to give me x squared plus 4x, I'm going to leave a blank space for my constant, and then 18 divided by 3 is 6, and then I have to have another blank after the equals. So I'm going to draw my picture of x squared plus 4x plus blank. So I want to draw a picture for my x squared. And now I have to think, okay, if I've got 4x, how could I divide that up evenly so that I have the same number of rectangles on both sides of my x squared box? And the answer is 2 on each side. That will combine to make 4. So this is going to represent plus 2x plus 2x. And then I have to think, what would my constant be that I could add that would complete the square? And the answer is 4. And so that makes my factors x plus 2 times x plus 2. But I want to write my factors using a power of 2. So that's going to be x plus 2 squared. And now, I've got to fill in my blank with a 4. And now I'm ready to write my solutions, or find my solutions. So again, I'm going to write my trinomial of x squared plus 4x plus 4 as my factors. So that is the same as x plus 2 squared. And then I'm going to add my constants together, 6 and 4. And that's going to give me a total of 10. And now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. This is going to give me x plus 2 equals the square root of 10. And 10, I'm going to rewrite 10 using its prime factors. So it's going to be 5 and 2. And since I cannot make a group of 2 out of just 5 times 2, it's going to stay the square root of 10, but it's going to be positive negative. I cannot simplify that radical. So now I'm going to write my two equations. X plus 2 equals the square root of 10. And I'm going to have x plus 2 equals the negative square root of 10. And I'm going to move my positive 2's over and change the sign in both equations. And again, just like before, I cannot combine. So this is not going to be the square root of 8. This is not going to be the negative square root of 8. You cannot combine these. These are not like terms. So my first solution is going to be the square root of 10 minus 2. My second solution is going to be negative square root of 10 minus 2. And that is how you complete the square.